Monday Night Raw was an okay show. We're on the road to Survivor Series. The build for the show, for Survivor Series, I feel like a lot of people just think that CM Punk is going to be there, and that's going to be Survivor Series, which definitely not the case. I don't believe that's the case. That we're going to see CM Punk, but there's only 3 matches advertised for this show. 3. That's it. Only 3 matches for a show that comes out in 11 days, or next Saturday, and there's 3 matches advertised. Now I know the show is selling really well. They opened up a lot of seats behind the stage, but just because your show is sold out, all in, doesn't give you the right to not have build for this pay-per-view. Now, the main match, of course, is the War Games match, which I think they've been building up and have executed very well so far, being 1 week out. But there's nothing else to care about for the show. The other 2 matches are just so lackluster. Very lackluster. Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark, who this match was announced last week, and Zoe is just not. They're trying with her. They really are. They're trying, and for me, it's not working for me. And her stuff with Rhea hasn't really been not appetizing whatsoever. I mean, Rhea completely destroyed her on the microphone, right? So, and the other one is Gunther and The Miz, and they're playing this up as like The Miz will do anything to win. So either we're gonna see The Miz win by like some cheeky finish to protect Gunther, or Gunther's just gonna win dominantly. That's it. A War Games match, Rhea Ripley, Zoe Stark, Gunther, and The Miz. Those are the matches for the pay. 3 matches a week away from one of your big 5 pay-per-views, right? Rumble, yeah, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. This is a big one of your big pay-per-view. And yes, it is called Survivor Series War Games. And the pay-per-view is built around the War Games match, but if your undercard is just nothing to care about, I don't think a lot of people will tune in just to watch the War Games match. I don't know. I just feel like they're not doing much. They are furthering storylines. They are, following up on stuff week to week basis, which is a good thing, which is something that AEW lacks. But again, 3 matches for one of your big pay-per-view announced out. It's kind of lame. But those are my thoughts for the matches announced for Survivor Series. Now, by the way, all 3 of these matches are Monday Night Raw matches. There isn't a single match from the SmackDown brand announced for Survivor Series. Also, hopefully we can get something Friday to give. I'm not saying you should load the show up with like 8 or 9 matches, but at least give us 5 or 6 at most, because we all know that War Games match is going to go an hour. So, I don't know, maybe add 1 or 2 more matches or something. And honestly, I can't even, because they're doing LA Knight and Jim Uso Friday. So, I don't know what matches they could put on for Survivor Series on the SmackDown side of things. So, well, obviously the SmackDown. Oh yeah, the SmackDown Women's War Games match, I think. But I don't know where Bianca and Charlotte are gonna find three partners. Well, yeah, there's Shotzi, but I don't know. Maybe that's why. So they're gonna do two War Games matches, which are both gonna go an hour. Then you have two middle of the show matches. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. So the show kicks off with Cody. Cody comes to the ring. He says he's had a lot of wonderful memories in this building, which they were in Washington, which is where the first episode of Dynamite was. So that's a nice little reference there. He says him and Jey Uso will win the tag team titles tonight, and he introduces his War Games team: Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins. So when Pierce announced War Games last week, I was like, okay, there's a lot of rumors about Randy Orton, and there's a lot of rumors about Drew McIntyre. Are they going to have this be a 4-on-4 War Games match or a 5-on-5? They never really cleared that up. And with what happened tonight, I would assume that it is going to be a 5-on-5 War Games match. But we'll talk about that at the end of the show. So yeah, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins come out. Judgment Day comes out. Priest brings up that Cody's team is just a group of randoms who have never really, teamed together before, and the Judgment Day are a unit. They're stronger than ever. It's true. The Judgment Day have been a group since what? After WrestleMania, last year's WrestleMania, right? Because that was with Edge, and then they turned on Edge, and then with Balor. So they've been together for a long time. So Priest has a valid point there. Finn tries to stir the pot between Seth and Cody. Finn calls Sami Zayn a loser because he can't win matches. They ask Seth, Cody, and Sami if they can trust Jey Uso because he has screwed them all in the past before with their respective bloodline issues. All good points brought up by I don't like it when they make heels say things that are factual statements. Because I can't boo this guy. I'm just like, yep, no, they're telling the truth. Or I can't hate this guy if they're telling the truth. Now, sometimes the truth hurts, but how can I hate heels if they're being honest most of the time? Sammy says, they've learned to put their individual grievances to the side for power reasons because they don't want the Judgment Day to have control power of the show. I don't really get the power reference because win or lose, the Judgment Day will still have all the championships besides Seth, right? Balor, Priest are still the tag champs. Priest still has the contract. Rhea has the women's championship. So they're still gonna have the power because they hold most of the championships. So I don't really get the power argument. Cody brings up the Judgment Day's leader debacle they've been going on in recent weeks, which I find very interesting because usually in wrestling, when factions are a thing, there's a leader. And the Judgment Day haven't really established a leader. They've been more of a cohesive group together. And then Cody says everybody's a leader but Priest. And then Priest has enough of it and says, I'm the leader. Crowd, ooh. And Balor's looking confused. McDonough's looking confused. Mysterio's looking confused. And it is interesting because, Priest does have the contract. He could become world champion at any point. But if you look at Damage Control, I don't really think people look at Io as the leader. I think a lot of people look at Bayley as a leader. Now, in recent weeks, it doesn't really seem the case. It looks like Bayley's going to get out at any point in time. But Seth and Sami Zayn challenge JD McDonough and Dominic for a match. So that kicks off the show. That leads into Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Match did not go long at all because Priest and Rhea Ripley interfered, causing a DQ. Cody and Jey Uso come out. Everybody's just brawling ringside. Officials, security. Pierce comes out, says everyone in the match is banned from the arena for tonight's tag team title match. Rhea doesn't like it at all. It says that she runs the show and Judgment Day runs the show. Then Zoe Stark comes out, and this was bad. Zoe says Rhea is focused on too many things, and where she should be focused is on Zoe Stark. But Rhea praises Zoe Stark, talks about the Becky Lynch stuff, the Trish Stratus stuff, how she won the Battle Royal last week. And then Rhea says that she can handle everything because she's Rhea Bloody Ripley. Again, Rhea just, when you watch this, there's just a clear difference between Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley. And it's nothing against Zoe Stark, but damn. Again, this match is a pay-per-view match on one of the big 5 pay-per-views of the year, and it just does nothing for me. Nothing at all. Like, even if they want to pull the shock factor and have Zoe win, I still think that's wrong. The wrong decision because Zoe's not there. They've been trying so hard with Zoe, but she just can't cut good, believable promos. Now, some of the words she uses is fine, but it doesn't seem believable. She sounds like a robot. She's good in the ring, but she needs to nail or just talk better. Because, like I said just a second ago, you can tell there's a clear difference between Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark during that promo segment. Anyways, we have a Nakamura promo package. Says he's frustrated and everything is in his hands. Now, last time they did something like this, it led to Nakamura seemed like he was challenging somebody and turned out to be Tozawa. So hopefully this package can lead to something better. Fucking Tozawa. We'll see. See Cody, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins backstage. Cody says he needs Seth for one night. Seth says he'll never like Cody ever. You don't think he'll ever like Cody. And promises at War Games they will be good. Now this is interesting. There's a lot of moving parts with this whole Judgment Day Team Cody thing or whatever. Is Cody and Seth gonna, butt heads inside cage? Seth gonna Cody? Is Cody gonna Seth? Is Cody gonna hit Seth with a crossroads and then Priest pin Seth? There's so many things that could happen in this War Games match. Very intriguing. We get Otis versus Nakamura. This was set up last week after Nakamura dismantled Akira Tozawa. So now it's Otis's turn to get dismantled by Nakamura. A fine match for what it was. Otis does a lot of his normal stuff he does, etc. Nakamura, it's the Kinshasa, beats Otis 1-2-3. Fine, typical Raw match. It advances the storyline between Nakamura and the Alpha Academy, because now we're going to get Nakamura and Gable next week. And after he beats Gable next week, what does Nakamura do next? I'm curious. We see Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre backstage, as Rollins looks like he's trying to leave the building. Drew says he blames himself for losing, wants to shake Rollins' hand. They shake hands. Drew says he's gonna work his ass off to get a rematch for the title. Seth walks away, and that is that. I feel like if they didn't show this, that main event, what happened at the main event, would have looked not as good as it did. So I'm glad they did this. They showed Drew shaking Rollins' hand, saying that he blames himself, etc. I liked how they did this. This is good. We get a Tegan Knox repackage video, basically recapping everything that Tegan Knox has been through with WWE injury wise, like the Classic where she tore her ACL, and then when she tore her ACL again. And I'm gonna just be honest, Tegan, I was very high on Tegan Knox. All the way back to the Mae Young Classic, I thought she was primed to win that. She's very good in the ring, good look. She's a better talker than Zoe Stark. We just got to see how they capitalize on this because it's a great video package to get people to care. But how do you follow up on it? Well, she beat Piper Niven. It's a good start, but again, they pin one of the champions. I hate champions getting pinned for nothing matches. It does, help Tegan, right? Elevates Tegan, but again, your champions lose. And maybe they just don't care about the tag titles because there's no women's tag team. So I guess they just don't care about the women's tag titles. Very good win for Tegan. She hit the Shining Wizard, but Piper got her foot on the ropes. Natalia and Chelsea were doing their shit ringside, and Tegan rolls up Piper for the win. So, much needed win for Tegan, and I guess Piper and Chelsea could just eat losses as tag champs all they want, as long as they don't lose tag matches. Then we get the Miz backstage. He makes fun of Gunther's accent in a Arnold Schwarzenegger reference, which I thought was kind of funny. Ivar comes in, calls the Miz a joke. Bronson comes in, gets into it with Ivar, and they want a match against each other next week. Then we get Tommaso Ciampa and Ludwig Kaiser. This is happening because of last week where Kaiser cost Ciampa and Gargano their match last week against the Creed brothers. So this is a little bit of revenge by DIY, but unfortunately for DIY, they lose again. Vinci comes out of nowhere and just boots Gargano in his fucking face. And Kaiser rolls up Ciampa, beats him. Now, I guess if you want to progress this, you do have to beat DIY, but I don't like them losing 2 weeks in a row. Granted, it wasn't a tag match, but Ciampa lost. But it does set up things for, down the road, which is fine. But I just thought this didn't need to necessarily happen, but it does advance stuff. Can't complain. The match wasn't even like that good. I was kind of bored through it, to be honest. But when Vinci just came out of nowhere and just rocked Gargano's face with that boot, I gotta laugh at him. Then we see Judgment Day backstage. They declare Priest is in charge for War Games. They declare McDonough a member of the Judgment Day, and Priest reluctantly agrees. Says that he wants to deliver McDonough's vest by himself. Next we had Xia Li versus Indy Hartwell. Nothing match. Xia knocks Indy Hartwell out with a spinning heel kick. Ref rings the bell. Xia wins via ref stoppage. Becky comes out, tries to fight Xia, but Xia backs off. She leaves the ring. Becky says next week it'll be Xia and Becky on Raw. Now, to me, it's a little soon, right? To have this match. You know, they've been feuding for a little bit, and they want to do the match next week. Felt like they could have done more before they had their match, but hey, it's fine. Whatever. Get the Miz backstage again. He's interrupted by Gunther. Gunther says the fun and games are over. Miz says he'll do whatever it takes to win because that's why he's an 8-time WWE Intercontinental Champion. So they're not even playing up the Miz as a serious contender for Gunther. They're playing up the Miz as in like, oh, he wins by any means necessary, no matter what. So they're just literally just setting up the Miz to try to win by like a fluke, cowardly way instead of beating Gunther. So again, either two things are gonna happen here: the Gunther's just gonna win clean, or the Miz is gonna win by some kind of tomfoolery, roll up, distraction, something. They make the Miz look like such a sometimes. Where for a guy who's been with WWE since 2004, and they still portray the Miz as a pussy is hilarious. We have Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark backstage, and they just get interrupted by Raquel and Nia. And they tease a match between Raquel and Nia Jax. And to be fair, wow, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'm interested in a Nia Jax match. Only because I want to see if Raquel can lift Nia up. That's it. That's the only reason I look forward to a Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax match. Only because I want to see Raquel lift up Nia Jax and do some kind of crazy power spot. Then we get Ivar versus The Miz. This was set up earlier in the night. You know, they're having just a nothing match. It was not good. Until Bronson comes out and he has a seat ringside to watch the match. And Ivar goes up to do a moonsault. Bronson distracts Ivar, and The Miz gets a cheeky win. Just like we were talking about. And he looks in the camera and says, any means necessary. So again, they're playing up The Miz as a pussy who can't win matches straight up. And said he needs some kind of tomfoolery to win his match. And he's a babyface. They're portraying him as a babyface, but he can only get wins by tomfoolery. This is such a great tomfoolery. So the Miz did need to win. Again, I don't know if the way he won makes him look any good whatsoever, but he does need to win. No need to have him lose before his championship match at Survivor. Now this was interesting. So Imperium are backstage, and Gunther gives props, and Kaiser thinks the props are for him, but he turns to Vinci and says, "Good job, you won for Imperium tonight." And Kaiser is just looking like, "What the fuck?" He looks confused, angry, jealous. While Vinci looks happy to finally get acknowledged for once. And Gunther and Vinci walk off. Kaiser turns around, and Jinder Mahal and Veer Mahan and another guy. I don't know who the other guy. It's not Shanky. I don't know who that other guy is, but and they are looking at Kaiser, and they're just like, "Hey, you better watch who you run into. I'm here to talk to Adam Pearce." Weren't these guys like demoted to NXT like however many moons ago? And now they show up on Raw asking for Adam Pearce. So I guess we're just gonna get this group. I don't know their group name. I'm not even sure if that's Veer Mahan, who's besides Jinder Mahal and two goons. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It is interesting to a degree. A lot of groups on on these shows, which I'm not opposed to because every group seems something with some sort of relevance to it. So I'm quite curious to see what they do with Jinder Mahal and his boys. We get Alpha Academy and Diamond Mine backstage. Gable says he'll take care of Nakamura next week because Otis thinks that he's disappointed in him, which he's not. The Creed brothers suggest new training partners for the Alpha Academy, and then the New Day come in, and we see Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree compliment each other in the background while the men are just doing boy things, talking about boy things or whatever. Then Tozawa grabs the Washington Commanders WWE custom belt because they were in Washington, promoting these belts like crazy. And he tries and attempts to do the New Day hip thing, and it's so bad and so awkward looking. And the New Day and the Creed brothers and the Alpha Academy are like, oh, that's nasty. As Tozawa's doing his weird hip dance thing with the belt, and Academy, the Creeds, and the New Day are actually fucking with it. So, whatever. In main event time, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso activating their rematch clause for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. They gave this match time. I think this went like what, 18 minutes or so. And they were having a good match. They were having a good match. And I figured this was coming. I really did. I really figured this was coming because what else is there to do with Drew McIntyre if this wasn't the next logical step? So they made the right call. Drew McIntyre just appears at ringside. Claymore kicks Jey Uso, throws him in the ring. Balor pins Uso. Judgment Day retain their titles. And Cody and Jey, mainly Cody, just looks so pissed off. Drew walks up the ramp, turns his back, looks at the ring. And then a couple seconds later, Rhea Ripley comes out and shakes hands with Drew McIntyre. Now, couple things. I thought this was a great way to advance the War Games match story because now it looks like it's going to be 5-on-4 and Team Cody's going to need another partner and it's not going to be CM Punk. It's most likely going to be Randy Orton, which is awesome. I've missed Randy on TV. I know a lot of people don't like Randy Orton because he never has good matches, which is complete bullshit. But again, excellent way to further the story and to further the War Games build by doing something like this because now Drew is aligned with the Judgment Day. I don't know if he's an official member yet, but he did shake hands with Rhea, so it looks like he's at least on the same page as the Judgment Day. Now, another thing. If he is a member of the Judgment Day, boy, that's a lot of egos right there, right? Balor, Priest, Drew, Ripley, Dom. That's a pretty star-studded group right there. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I feel like that's not gonna last long because egos are gonna definitely be a key part of that because Balor and Priest's ego is already as hot as it is sometimes, some weeks. But it looks like they've been getting better on the same page as of late. Besides like the whole leader thing, but it kind of seems like they squashed that whole leader debacle by naming Priest the head guy at Survivor Series. So it looks like they declared Priest as the current leader at the moment, at least up until War Games. So we'll have to see. But I thought this was decent to. No, I don't want to say decent. It was better than decent. It was probably like a solid episode of Raw. Nothing crazy happened on this show dramatically, besides probably the and Judgment Day thing. They furthered storylines. They followed up stuff based off what happened last week on Raw. Can't complain. There's a lot of boring matches on the show, but and a couple of bad stuff. Zoe Stark. But again, they followed up on a lot of the stuff they did last week. They furthered storylines towards War Games. May not be the best storylines like her and the Miz and Zoe and Rhea, but I can appreciate that. So that was the Raw review for November 13th, 2023. We have one more SmackDown, one more. No, we have two more SmackDowns and one more Raw till Survivor Series. Again, I want to see them add at least two more matches to the show because right now they currently have three matches. That was the review. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, notification bell, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys follow all of my socials. I stream on Kick. I stream video games on Kick. So if you guys want to come in, chat about wrestling, whatever, that's fine. We do that. I'd be down. But I will see you guys for the Dynamite review Thursday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Peace out.